great. We can fix it up. This is what we wanted.
Welcome home. This is Robert, my husband. It is so nice to meet you, Robert.
Hi, Justin. How are you doing? Good to see you again, sir.
Good. Yeah, you too. How's it going?
I'm not too bad. How are you keeping?
I'm all right. All right.
Uh-huh.
I'll admit I'm a little tired. I live in the mountains now, and I had a bat invade my house last night. So I was trying to get the bat out of the house all night long. But yeah, I'm good otherwise.
So I'm co-writer of the film. I loved it just as much as your previous one.
Oh, thanks.
If I'm not mistaken, is this the first film that you've actually directed that you didn't write yourself? Is that right?
Yeah, that's the first.
How was that for you? And also, if I'm not mistaken, it was two English blokes who wrote the scripts, and then you ended up directing this one, because I mean, obviously they've directed things themselves before, but how did you actually end up directing this script that they'd written as well?
Well, this one had, been sent to me through my representatives as a possible, project. It's something that I've been really interested in doing for a while. Was directing something I hadn't written. I think I have a pretty particular sensibility when I'm as a writer, but I consider myself primarily a director, and it's kind of the thing I enjoy the most. Writing, I have to sort of pull it out. It's a little bit harder for me. And so yeah, it was something my representatives knew I was interested in doing, and so they sent me the script, and I really enjoyed it, and sort of found something. Ultimately it just has to be that thing where you find something that you can, that you feel like you can give a unique perspective to it, and and it's what I find exciting about directing something I didn't write is that it allows me to sort of do things that I would never have written in the first place, but put my own spin on it, and that's really what I love about filmmaking, is that collaborative process. So I'm not necessarily the guy that needs everything to be from me. Like I think what's great is that what everybody brings their own thing to it.
Mm-hmm. And with the fact that Adam and Simon, they're both filmmakers themselves as well, did that add an extra kind of pressure, or were they very open to kind of let you kind of do whatever you wanted to do with this, even though they had their kind of their own vision of how maybe they thought it might go?
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit it's something I had thought about, and then coming into it, it was sort of like it sort of hit me after I came onto the project, where I was like, oh my God, I felt this weight, to really, I wanted to make it my own, but at the same time really honor, their work and what they had, their initial idea and everything. And they're just the most gracious guys, and they were so open and, excited to actually I kind of came on the project because Adam had seen my first film, The Dark, and really liked it, and so he thought I would be a good fit for this. And so and we share representatives, so actually he had sort of been like, I really think Justin would be good for this. And they've just been really incredibly supportive throughout the process. And I think collectively between them, they've actually have a broader body of work than I do, even, so it was really nice to have them, so supportive.
So I mean, I was speaking to Finn yesterday, and he said that the script was great, but they said that you really brought a lot of your own kind of filmmaking to this. What specifically would you say that you kind of altered once you got the script in your hands, that you altered it? I mean, the film has kind of, for me anyway, it felt kind of almost like had a more of a gothic-y feel to it, almost like a hammer horror in certain kind of moments of the film. Was that something that you brought to the film yourself, or was that something that was kind of originally in the script already?
Yeah, I mean, like with any project, when a director comes on, he kind of puts his or her own stamp on things, or their own stamp on things. And I mean, I wouldn't get into specifics necessarily, but I mean, I think that my interest in the project, just the first time I read it, it had these sort of you read a script and it conjures either images or things that you connect with personally, or other films that you love. And and there were elements of this that really sort of were reminding me of Rosemary's Baby and The Wicker Man. And those are two horror films that I really, really admire. And they have really interesting tones, where they're terrifying and but at the same time also sometimes a bit strange and funny. And they just have these really interesting tones that I found like something I'd like to explore. And then I think maybe what I might have ushered in a little more was I think maybe I saw this as a bit more of a tragedy for the two characters, for Maya and Robert. I really sort of saw it as I'm interested in this idea of family and legacy and sort of the context that we're born into. And there's we have this idea of like we have this ultimate control over ourselves and sort of who we become and who we are. And that just almost seems like a farce to me. It's just like there's so much put on us. We're born into a context that's already exists, and there's all these systems and there's all these whatever family, religion, all these contexts that we're born into. And to think that we just sort of can
freely choose where we want to go.
Be like barrel our way through without unaffected is insane. And so I just found it really interesting, and sort of I really felt for both these characters where they both he got away, but it's clearly like his past is pulling him back. And even it was really important to me that he always has the agency to say no and leave, because we always have choices to make, and to sort of, and that's the hard choice, right? To take what your legacy is or what you were brought up to be and go to a different path. And meanwhile, Maya also has been sort of groomed, to literally to do, she has this one role which has nothing to do with her and what she wants and what she needs. And she's living in service of this other person, and just trying to do right, and ultimately it's just tragic for both of them and everybody in the end. So yeah, I mean, it sounds a bit messy, and maybe it is, but I guess those are the things that interest me, even if they're messy and sort of not right on the nose. That excites me when I'm sort of grappling with some interesting questions and characters.
I mean, you mentioned there that we don't, I mean, society doesn't really kind of give us this free leash to do exactly what we want to choose. No, was that, I mean, maybe I'm reading between the lines, but was that something, without giving too much away, was that something, the reason behind having the lead character, an English guy, to kind of show that even though he's somewhere completely different, these things just keep bleeding in and it kind of.
Well, the English part of it, you can blame Adam and Simon for.
I kind of guess that as well. Yeah.
That had nothing to do with that. That was baked in. So I can't take credit for that. But there is, I found it interesting that, it's, and maybe it doesn't come through for other people. I don't know. For me, what was so important and so nice about this scene, you may remember at one point in the movie where the movie just sort of, there's all the momentum pushing one way and it just sort of stops. And then we just meet these two characters in a bar for their first meeting. And he just seems like a regular guy watching football in a bar, and it's like, this easily could have gone a different way, and so I just wanted that moment of sort of, again, if we just make different choices, or because he did escape, he was able to get away, and then and she found him, and she could have said, what, this isn't right, let's stay here. Let's, there are all these choices these characters could have made, and things would have ended up differently. And so, yeah, it's but yeah, the English part was definitely Adam and
Yeah,
Sally.
I kind of guess that. Yeah. So I mean, just to finish up, we're going to wrap now. But so obviously you've got this coming out now, but you've been pretty prolific quite of late. You know, the last it was quite recently that I spoke to you about the previous film. So have you got anything planned in the pipeline anytime soon that you can tell us about?
Oh man, I mean, I don't have anything going immediately. I have a few different things I'm working on. And yeah, just, I mean, basically I've just been really lucky and you know, and that I've been able to continue to work and you know, and that's sort of the dream as a filmmaker, you know, is just to be able to continue to make work and you know, to sort of express yourself in this way. And so yeah, I have several scripts that are sort of out in the ether, and hopefully we'll be doing this again soon.
And that they'll be you sticking to the genre movies, or you hoping to branch out maybe a little bit different sometime soon?
I mean, right for the immediate future, I mean, I really enjoy horror, and it's what and you know, we're in sci-fi and sort of that realm. I mean, it's really fun, and it's sort of I found it to be a comfort zone in how I express myself. But that said, I mean, yeah, maybe, you know, I think it would be interesting. I think I would be able to break out and do something different. But just either have to get the right script or convince myself to write something good. that's not hard.
Really, well, listen, I could ask you loads more questions, just when we're out of time. So it's good to see you again. I wish you the best
You
of luck with the
too.
film when it comes out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hope to speak to you again sometime soon. Take care of
Yeah,
yourself.
please. Nice to see you.